the nation's favourite antiques experts.
Let's get fancy.
Behind the wheel of a classic car.
I'm always in turbo.
And a goal to scar Britain for antiques.
Hot stuff.
The aim to make the biggest profit at auction. But it's no mean feat. There'll be worthy winners.
Cha-ching!
Oh my goodness.
And valiant losers.
Bonkers.
Will it be the high road to glory?
You are my ray of sunshine.
Oh, stop it.
Or the slow road to disaster?
Sorry.
This is Antiques Road Trip. Yeah. Salutations, Ayrshire.
Happy days. I'm happy.
Glad to hear it.
That'll be my phone ringing. Hold on. Rambo, what?
Wow, he knows Rambo. It's the penultimate leg with auctioneers Glasgow gal Natasha Raskin-Sharp and Worcester boy Philip Serrell. Rambo, by the way, is his porter.
It's a very fragrant smell we're just wafting through, isn't it? Can I just tell you, it's not me.
I've been well brought up, so I didn't want to mention it until you mentioned it, in case it was actually you.
Pardon?
Trumping along in the Ayrshire countryside like a good 'un, our pair are in the 1972 MGB Roadster.
No, I'm old, but I would know if I'd done that.
Yeah, give him a break, Tash. Last time, despite the fascination with cows...
There's a nice cow.
That's a nice hairy cow.
Yeah.
Our pair bought some coloured glass antiquities.
Bristol blue glass chamber.
Too good to walk past, isn't it?
That transformed into super-duper auction hotties.
65.
That feels amazing.
£80.
Yes,
Cha-ching.
it does.
Do you think we pulled it out of the fire?
Well, that was a good auction for both of us, wasn't it?
Natasha started with £200. Despite the profits, she has, well, less than that. £181.98, actually. Philip also began with £200, and he has just tipped the scales to have, upon his person, £212.94.
You probably aren't familiar with this, but if you ever had festering old cricket socks, they smell like stinking bishop.
Phil, I'm going to stop you right there.
Don't blame you, Tash. Their four-nation tour began in the Lake District, crossing the border to Scotland, will jump over to Northern Ireland, and will conclude with an auction in Wrexham, which is in Wales.
Are you going to buy another feeding trough?
No.
OK, Granny Grumps. Everything they buy will head over the Irish Sea and land in Belfast for auction. But they will begin this trip on Scottish soil in marvellous Mauchline. With Phil dropped off elsewhere, our giddy gal has made it to Nay Say New. Easy for me to say. Brimming with antiques delights, Tash begins her stealth mission for goodies.
It's difficult when you don't have very much money to try and find things that are going to get people hot under the collar.
Yeah, with just over 180 smackers, I have every faith in you, Tash.
Okay. Birmingham 1902 ladies' travel case. Can you just imagine someone travelling today with their gloves in a silk-lined leather case? Are you kidding me?
Super chic, eh?
I am so classy with this. That's not the story that's being told on the exterior. That right there, that's my story. This is my mum's story. Oh, it's broken as well. The clasp is broken. Yeah, my glamorous mum is in my head saying, darling, walk away, step away.
Keep on rummaging. Meanwhile, Philip is in Kilbarchan in Renfrewshire. Once a weaving village, there used to be 800 hand looms here. Our Phil loves to spin a good yarn, though. Today, he's moseying in here. Gardener's Antiques. This family-run biz has been on the go since 1950. Oh, crumbs.
Oh, I just love that. Hello, mate, how are you? Look at you.
I'm deaf now, thanks to you. I belong to one of the dealers.
You're wagging your tail, aren't you?
My name's Brack. And this is David, the other dealer.
You ever come across dogwood?
come across dogwood in American furniture.
You can tell it by the bark.
Oh, good God. I have also come across stinkwood,
Yeah.
which seems appropriate right now.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah.
Oh, Phil, not again, please. You can get tablets for that, for pity's sake. Meanwhile, down the road in Mochlin,
This looks to be silver. Isn't that pretty? Nice hinged tea caddy. Chester is always quite nice. Oh, so because of that lovely octagonal form, the first thing I noticed that we're meant to lift and just hinge back, but the lid came straight off. I think that that is a fine maker.
this tea caddy is made by esteemed silversmiths, Stokes and Ireland Limited, who were in business from 1891 until 1938, in the Georgian style.
The attention to detail, they've added a loop handle that's basically in the shape of a heart come lyre with that squared off base. Delightful. So £75, something to ponder.
Back in Kilbarchan, I think we might be getting somewhere.
So would this be 1920s, 30s?
Probably. He's an Ayrshire artist, so local to here.
So what's his name?
Ralston Gudgeon. Born in
Ralston
Ayr.
Gudgeon.
Born in Ayr down in the coast.
Yeah.
Painted throughout Ayrshire, up around this part of Renfrewshire.
And was he quite prolific?
Very prolific. Paid for his lunch with paintings on many occasions.
What are you asking for that?
That's £45.
I'm going to come back and think about that.
Now, wouldn't it be good if you had an auctioneer friend who specialised in paintings?
Tash is she's the auctioneer in these parts. I wonder if she's ever sold a Ralston Gudgeon. Oh, it's a great name now. I'm going to give her a call.
It's Phil.
Ralston Gudgeon.
Ralston Gudgeon. Do you want to know about Ralston Gudgeon?
Yeah, go on, tell me.
Okay, so are you looking at a painting that features ornithological subject matter?
She's good, isn't she? Yeah, yeah.
She is.
I have to see it properly, but it's probably worth about, I don't know, 80 to 120? Maybe 70 to 90?
Right, okay, thank you. You know what? I really like that, so I think that I'm going to buy it.
Thanks, Tash. That's Phil sold them. Ralston Gudgeon, in 1936, aged just 26, was the youngest man ever to be elected to the Royal Scottish Society of Painters in watercolour. One defo for Phil. Now, how about Natasha?
You know, I've come back here because I've walked past this little caddy spoon, but the reason I'm picking it up now is because it's just occurred to me it's a souvenir caddy. Inverness is splashed across the bowl of the spoon, but that font is distinctly Edwardian, is it not? It's serif. It has quite the flair. The final S on Inverness, it goes Inverness. Look out, I think it's an antique.
Good work. How much?
£7.
Now, has Phil stopped tooting his horn, so to speak?
Those are interesting, aren't they? So these are cut glass, probably turn of the last century. They are silver mounted. They were assayed in Birmingham, and the assay date is 1904. There's a pair of them, and they are priced at £65. If I could buy those and my new very bestest friend ever, Ralston Gudgeon, I think I'd be quite happy with that.
Stand by, David.
So I'd like to buy these two.
OK.
Would £85 buy the two?
No.
90 quid?
95. 95
Okay,
is
all
what
right.
they
Well,
come
I'm
to.
not going to argue with you. I'm going to
yes.
have to pay you now, aren't I?
Always nice.
That breaks down to 45 for the painting and 50 for the pair of silver bowls. Thank you, David. Phil now has £117 and pennies. Over in marvellous Mochlin,
Gary, hi.
Natasha,
I am accompanied by the sweetest four-legged member of staff.
the hairy helper.
another cute doggy.
So I'm looking at two Hallmark silver items.
Yep.
Let's start with the cheaper one, which is a little caddy spoon. I like it at £7.
Right, no bother.
How could I quibble?
And the silver tea caddy, priced at 75.
Would you be comfortable? What about £45?
48.
Are you serious?
Yep. If you're happy, I'm happy.
48 plus 7, 55. Is that right? Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Wonderful. Thank you, Gary. Tash now has a smidge under £127. I'd put the dog in the boot, me. Meanwhile, Phil's made it to East Ayrshire, to the town of Kilmarnock, home to the Dick Institute. Hailed as Scotland's finest municipal gallery, the musical instrument collection here is so precious it has been granted nationally significant status. Centuries ago, collecting musical instruments held the same power status as the wealthy classic car collector of today. Phil's playing detective as he opens the casebook of just why the collector of lute Talars attracted unwanted attention from unscrupulous dealers. The Institute's Bruce Morgan knows the tale.
Why is it all in Kilmarnock?
Well, Lord Howard of Walden inherited the estate of Kilmarnock along with Dean Castle, which he restored during the first half of the 20th century. And at a certain stage, he moved his collections and what was his father-in-law's collection of musical instruments, Dean Castle.
The antique and curiosity dealer emerged in the opening decades of the 19th century, when scholarship in musical instruments was in its infancy. Therefore, the provenance could be a little blurred.
If you're forming a collection, you know, if there were some sort of fairly sharp dealers back in the day, you could have bought things that weren't quite perhaps what they thought they were.
Yes, indeed, and the people who had the money to buy them didn't necessarily have the right advice, and they therefore could fall prey to unscrupulous dealers.
A fool and his money is soon parted.
Yes, and there is one very famous individual, Leopoldo Francinelli, who was a dealer, but also pretty unscrupulous in the way he dealt with his customers.
Franchellini worked at a time when collections were being built up by wealthy clientele who had very little protection against fraudsters. Within the collection, there is a mandolin thought to have been sold by this ruthless con man.
To my untrained eye, stylistically, it looks to me like you've got an instrument of two halves there. You've got that half, which is beautifully inlaid, and you've got that half, which is a bit of a plain Jane, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And how's that come about?
Well, if you notice the kind of repeated motifs as well, they kind of meander up here and then just suddenly stop, you know, abruptly in a way that a craftsman wouldn't really have stopped. We believe that this is at least two instruments, both historic in a sense, but not actually belonging together. So, in a sense, it isn't a fake. The relationship is a fake.
Improvement, isn't it?
It's highly likely that this is connected to Francinelli, the dealer and fraudster. I mean, he ended up in jail.
One showstopper item that is the genuine article is this 18th century square piano.
Part of the McKee Robert Burns collection. Robert Burns, the national poet of Scotland. There is a memoir which indicates that at a certain stage, this being the first piano as far as we know in Kilmarnock, a family called the Gregory family were entertaining Burns, and he was able to listen to music which he loved being played on this piano.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Amazing.
Okay, go on, hit me with a note.
Well out of tune, unfortunately.
A bit like me. Yeah, but fantastic to hear it, isn't
But
it?
we hope to have it in playing condition in the future.
Thank you very, very much for showing it me. And thank you for showing me around. It's been fantastic. Learnt a lot, thank you.
The heartfelt passion of the collectors of yesteryear, despite the dangers of fraudsters, have ensured the survival of the musical instruments on display here. Now, where's that Tash?
It's all going to work out swimmingly because I have a good feeling about this penultimate leg.
That's the spirit, girl. Natasha has motored to the town of Lockerbie in Dumfries and Galloway. This lovely establishment is Natasha's next chance to try and pounce on some auction thrillers. With just under £127, Natasha needs to call upon her powers of thrift in here.
I feel like I can't see the wood for the trees, but this humble, very domestic item is sort of singing to me, actually. This brass jam pan. We're over the fire. We are suspending our jam pan on our wrought iron riveted handle. And we are making that jam, and we are selling that jam.
It's believed that jam has been around since the 4th century, and that Mary Queen of Scots' physician invented marmalade to cure her seasickness.
It needs some love, it needs some care.
You are right. And it doesn't have a ticket price.
It has to be cheap, it has to be cheerful, but it has to be low.
Anything else, Tash?
I can see from a distance that all of these cloth-bound books are by Virginia Woolf. How good is that? What a nice selection. And these look to be Second World War period. They're just lovely. Oh, look. Oh, they're all Hogarth Press. The Hogarth Press was her personal press. That's her and her husband founded that, did they not?
Indeed they did. Woolf was a literary giant and considered one of the most important modernist 20th century authors. Virginia and Leonard set up the press in 1917. It proved a diversion when writing became too stressful.
These have come from one collector, obviously an avid reader, the years. So published by Leonard and Virginia Woolf, 1937. Oh, I think that's a proper first edition. I think this is a straight up first edition. Oh, that's so lovely. Oh, I just wish the condition were nicer. Look at that. Look at all that damage on the inside. Maybe it's good that the condition isn't great because maybe I can afford it for that reason.
So, out of this potential bunch of auction thrillers, we have one first edition. Exciting. Stand by, Irene. Let's start with the 19th century jam pan.
It doesn't have a ticket price on it. Do you have a price in mind that you would take for the jam
I'll
pan?
be very good and take £8 off you.
£8?
Yes.
Not even two figures?
No?
Irene, I tell you what, that's deal of the day. I will take that. Thank you very... Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
And the Virginia Woolf collection?
I'm buying into the romantic element of this lot, but I actually don't know if I can afford them because there's no price on them. So what would you say for all 8?
Oh, I'm sure you can afford them. £25.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
100%?
100%.
Well, I tell you what, that's lovely. I'm really grateful for that.
How very kind and generous you are, Irene. Along with the £8 19th century jam pan, that comes to £33.
A jam pan full of Virginia Woolf books. Of course.
Of course. Natasha now has just a tickle under £94.
You know what?
That's
Is that not the smell we left in Ayrshire?
it is. It's kind of
blooming
following
travel
us,
to
isn't it?
Dumfries and Galloway.
Honestly, Phil. Pooey. Nighty night. Good morning, Dumfries and Galloway.
If you were going to have a pet, what would it be?
I don't know. You see, my husband's dogs and I'm cats. So I think maybe one of each. Or maybe a
Dogs.
donkey.
Okay. Interesting.
Has one of your dogs ever smashed a piece of Worcester with their waggy tail?
No, but she has eaten a chair.
Wow. I'm not coming round to your house. Yesterday, Natasha was buying for Blighty. Picking up a silver tea caddy, a George V silver caddy spoon, a brass jam pan, and a Virginia Woolf book collection. Lovely.
Oh, I think that's a proper first edition.
Leaving her with nearly £94. While Phil was splashing his cash, he scooped up a Ralston Gudgeon watercolour and a pair of silver-mounted cut-glass bowls. Nice.
Those are interesting, aren't they?
Phil has dug into his watch. He has just a smidge under £118.
I've been thinking about one of my purchases.
Okay.
8 books by Virginia Woolf. And
Right.
one of them has illustrated end pages. And I thought, oh, VB illustrated, how lovely. And do you know when you're just in an antique shop and you can't think at the moment?
Yeah.
VB is, of course, her sister, Vanessa Bell.
Oh, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
It's so cool.
Today, their Scottish gallop continues, with Tash dropped off elsewhere. Philip begins in the town of Dumfries. Nicknamed Queen of the South, It was once home to Scotland's national bard Robert Burns. Ah, my love is like a red rose. Here comes Phil. He's going in here to anchor antiques. Let the Cyril once over begin. With nearly 120 smackers, what will tickle the Cyril fancy?
This is a little bookrest. You might be able to call it arts and crafts, but it's got the shamrock on the side, look.
As the auction will take place in Belfast, this could be a goodie. And this bookrest is also a lovely example of good, honest workmanship, typical of the arts and crafts movement.
20 quid. It's a possibility, that. I'm going to think about that one.
Yeah, anything else?
So this is a rectangular brass tray. You've got a metal rod, I would think, down here, and the brass is just folded over the edge. And with a bit of imagination, you could almost call that arts and crafts. You've got some fruit here, you've got leaves here, and that's quite a nice tray, actually. I mean, it's priced at £75, but I quite like that. I think that's got a look to it.
Ah, two possibilities. He's on a roll.
This is from Worcester. This is a piece of Worcester. It's decorated with Shakespeare's birthplace on the front. And if you just flip it over on the back, we've got the letter L. And that letter L tells you from a date code that this was made in 1876. Probably made, well, within yards of my office in Worcester.
It doesn't have a ticket price. Stand by John.
How you doing? There's three things that I quite like.
Well, everything's negotiable.
Music to my ears, that is, John. There's a little Granger's Worcester plate with a view of
Yeah, I
Shakespeare.
know the one, yeah.
And you've got a square, rectangular brass tray that's kind of arts and crafts, but it's a bit later.
Yeah.
And you've got a little bookrest that's got shamrocks carved on
the
it.
one.
I mean, I'd like to buy all three if I could off you. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to give you somewhere between 45 and 50 quid for the three, if that works for you.
Yes, I think we could.
Is it-
I couldn't come below 50 on them.
No, that's fine. But you're more than happy to let me have all three for £50.
I'll let you have all three for 50.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to take
Because you
that.
need to make a pound as well.
Hey, I like you, John.
That's what it's all about.
Indeed it is, John. What a gent, eh? Because the bookrest and tray are both arts and crafts, there'll be a combo lot. Sale price for the two, £40, and £10 for the Granger's Worcester plate. That little lot now leaves Phil with just under £70. Meanwhile, Natasha has hot-footed it to the town of Kirkcudbright. At the turn of the 20th century, a group of Scottish artists were sending radical shockwaves throughout the archaic art world. Revolting against Victorian sentimentality, they were the rebels with a cause rewriting the rulebook. They were known as the Glasgow Boys. So called as they exhibited in Glasgow, but they sought inspiration in the countryside. Kirkcudbright was perfect. Tash is visiting Broughton House, bought by Glasgow boy Edward Atkinson Hornell in 1901. And here to enlighten us further is art historian Fiona Lees.
It's such a beautiful space. It's quite breathtaking. I mean, just in case anyone was wondering, any of his contemporaries, is Hornell faring well in this world? This is the perfect way to show that you are incredibly successful. Tell us what really attracted the Glasgow Boys to this part of the country.
Well, there were several things that artists would be looking for at this time, sort of 1880, 1890 into the turn of the century. First of all, you had to have transport, and we had the railway come to Kirkcudbright in 1864, so people had easy access. So artists could come and be sure of finding accommodation and studio space. They were looking for locations with beautiful landscapes or seascapes, and of course we have both. And most importantly, the very, very special light in Kirkcudbright, being by the sea.
The Glasgow Boys favoured the technique of painting outdoors. Broughton House manager David Stothard is in the garden to tell more about this revolutionary art gang.
They were dissatisfied with the focus on Edinburgh as sort of the art capital of Scotland. There was a lack of romanticism in it, so they started to look beyond Edinburgh. It was non-conforming, seeing that everything was being done the same way and realising that something should be done different. It was looking to everyday people and to the natural landscape around them, using different lights and shades. It was all very outside focused, painting on moors and gardens, along rivers.
The group were highly influenced by realism and the dappled strokes of the Impressionists.
It led into travel. George Henry and Edward Hornell were sponsored by Alexander Reid and William Burrell to go travelling through Asia to learn new techniques, new ideas. And that's sort of where Hornell and the Glasgow Boys began to take off. When Hornell came back, his first exhibition in Reid's gallery, he took 44 paintings and sold 43. He sold one painting for £600, bought this house for 650.
That's just incredible.
Avoiding the art establishment in Glasgow and Edinburgh, Hornell combined his artistic brilliance with a savvy business mind.
Essentially, he was probably one of the first real commercial Scottish artists. He put that gorgeous gallery onto this house, and he would lure people in to have a look at them.
Hornell's studio still exists today. An artist in residence, Ewan McClure, is going to give Natasha a masterclass on the freedom painters of the early 20th century.
So, Ewan, I can instantly see the reference to Hornell. Is that half-finished canvas on the easel over there, and it's the brown marks, the outline.
Well, that's it. He would always sketch in this sort of this scribble before beginning to tile in this patches of paint one by one. And
okay, sorry, that just happened in real time. Very casual, making marks. Look at that.
Well, oil paint is reworkable. Hornell did make a point, though, of putting stuff down and leaving it. But you can always scrape oil paint off if it's out of place and try again.
May I make a bold request? May I make a mark on your work in progress? I mean, I know you can always fix it if it goes horribly wrong.
Have a go.
This is really exciting. Right, here we go. Right.
Oh, no, I'm joking. I'm joking, sorry.
Ewan, my heart, are you joking me?
Very funny, Ewan.
Ewan, thank you so much for letting me work in your studio space. What a storied place. But I am going to leave you to it because I think I've made enough marks.
The Glasgow Boys were the forerunners of Scottish modernism in painting and continue to influence and inspire artists to this very day. I'm missing Philpot. Ah, there he is.
The old MG doing us proud. And do you know what? The real benefit is it's got a heater that actually it's got a heat. I think that's not the fillings, that.
I didn't know you had your own teeth, Phil. We are Wigtownshire bound. The village of Glenluce is our next hotspot for antiques. We're on a farm, right up Phil's milk churn.
There is stuff everywhere.
Phil has just shy of £70.
This is interesting. So, I'm trying to be clever now. We're going to go and sell in Ireland, and if there's two woods that are symbolic of Ireland for me, one is yew wood, and you get bog oak, which is basically oak that's been buried in a bog.
All right, Phil. Do you know he's obsessed with bogs?
This is a piece of bog oak. Lord knows where it's from. But am I being too clever?
Well, possibly. Let's keep looking, eh? Now, we have company, it appears. Young Tash has £93 and pennies remaining, but she's keen.
I can't seem to get away from seriously impressive Scottish artists today. Look at that. Kenneth MacLay, a Highlander. Sorry, just so you know that when you're buying a portrait, it helps if the sitter is handsome. And this man, this Highlander, dashing doesn't even cover it. I've stumbled upon an historical hottie, one of serious repute, but I'm not even going to ask what it's worth because I know that we're approaching, if not well into four figures.
Onwards we go then.
Come and join me.
Here I'm thinking, where's Phil? Is he busy buying antiques? No, he's having what looks to be a delicious scone.
Can I just stop you? I haven't gone for a scone.
How many scones in are you?
This is a second.
Oh. Have you bought any antiques yet?
What? Oh, no. Homemade jam. Homemade scone.
So let me just get this
And the
right.
thing is, it just doesn't show.
Oh.
That'll be the phone. Phone bid?
No,
Hello?
do you know who that is? That's someone saying, put down the scones,
What, get out and
put
shop?
down the cakes, go and find antiques. Honestly, I know, it's so sad.
What a pain.
Sad but true.
I have to admit, those scones look delish.
Oof, that is an attractive cowbell. Look at the size of that. Hold on, I want to lift it up, but I don't want it to make a racket. So hold on, slowly but surely. Lifting, lifting. Yeah, oh, that's a good sound. It's a good sound, and it is the sound of a Berger bell. Peter Berger. That is gorgeous. Swiss, straight away we can see that cross on the front, so it's an allusion to Switzerland. Agricultural motifs on the front. It would be nice if there was a little cow. There is a, excuse me, there's a cow wearing a bell.
Good Lord.
I haven't seen one of these in real life, so I'm quite impressed. Do you know, sometimes in catalogue descriptions, auction houses, mainly for jewellery, but catalogue descriptions will include the word impressive. Impressive sapphire and diamond ring. I want to see impressive, large Swiss cowbell.
The impressive large cowbell doesn't have a price. Stand by, Chris.
I did think you were nearby. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you.
Good. I'm feeling good because I'm quite into this Swiss cowbell. I like its proportions.
It just came in this morning, that did.
What would your best price be?
Very, very best on it could be £50.
£50. Let's do it. Oh, thank you very much.
No problem, thank you.
Well, that must be one of your quickest turnarounds ever. And I'll get this in the boot of the car before I go and retrieve my best friend. I'll make some noise as I move on.
While Tash gets the impressive large cowbell in the boot, he's still having a snoozle after all the cakes and scones. Where are you? And he's back at work, look.
See, look at that. That absolutely screams Art Deco at you, doesn't it? Let's have a look at it. So we have a probably 1920s, 30s, certainly Art Deco in style, coffee set. I mean, who does that remind you of? It's most definitely sort of in the manner of Clarice Cliff, isn't it? It's Fairyland by Cranford.
Yep, there are 4 coffee cups and 6 saucers.
That's really forward thinking of the manufacturer, because they've given you 2 spare ones just in case you break one. I mean, I think that's really clever.
Don't get all Del Boy on me, Phil. Obs. Meant to have 6 cups too.
And then we've got this coffee pot. It's really stylish, isn't it? Have a look at that. What a shape that is, isn't it? So basically what we're missing here is 2 coffee cans, a cream jug, and a sugar bowl.
This part coffee set is also unpriced.
If you come in here with expensive clothes, it's a dear price.
You should be okay then. Stand by, Chris.
I'm not going to bid you. What's the best you could do it for?
There was 50 on it. Yeah. The very, very best, 35.
Is that it?
30 quid.
Okay. I think I'll have that off you, sir. £30, done and dusted. There's your money. I'll go and take it if I may.
Many thanks.
You take care. Thank you very much indeed.
Andrew, thank you very much.
Cheers now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
There we go. The shopping is now finito for both of our road trippers.
Look out, Ireland. Here we come.
I know. I'm excited. Yeah. We're going on holiday.
Ah, the joy of road tripping, eh? Best get some shut-eye first. With unbridled excitement, our pair are gearing up for their penultimate auction.
Philip Serrell.
Bloom fields. Well, let's hope the fields are blooming, shall we?
How long have you been practicing that line? Right. Here we go. Is your glass half full this morning?
Yeah.
I think mine is too, actually.
Because guess what? After a charge around East Ayrshire and Dumfries and Galloway, we're in the glorious Emerald Isle. We're in Belfast, the home of Bloomfield Auctions. For sale in the room, on the phone and on the web. Head of the rostrum today is Carl Bennett.
At £5 and...
Natasha bought 5 lots for the sum of £138. What do you think then, Carl?
Collection of Virginia Woolf books, great lot this. We're seeing a growth in the people who are looking to purchase and collect books. That is one lot I expect to do very, very well.
5 lots for Phil too, for the sum of £175. What's your fave?
The arts and crafts movement is very much popular and in vogue at the minute, and it's one of those ones that could be the underdog of the lots today, and certainly worth watching. It's
busy.
Back to our joyful buddies.
This is a bit of a ride.
How good is this?
First up, Phil's pair of silver-mounted glass bowls.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, Phil.
I might need it, kid.
Starting the bit with me straight in at £10 for the pair. And advance on 10 now, and advance on 10, and advance on 10, and 12. The silver rimmed cut glass bowls. 14 online, 14
I'm
now.
absolutely staggered by that.
14 now, 16 now, and advance on 16 now. And
I think there's probably 30 quid's worth of scrap silver.
16 now, we all done at £16. At £16 then, are we all sure? At 16.
Whoa.
Crumbs, Phil. Oh dear. Plenty more to go, eh?
I'm wounded by that.
Don't be, because you took a risk. You put your name to a mystery object. I salute your bravery.
Yeah. Talking of bravery, it's Natasha's very large, impressive cowbell now.
I know that when I saw it, I thought, oh, I like the size of it.
It's a monster, isn't it?
I'm going to start the bidding with me at £30.
Yes.
And advance on 39, and advance on 39, advance on 30. Now we need to help Natasha along here now. At 30 now, we sure, and 32 now with the gentleman to the back. And advance on 32 now, and advance on 32.
He's out of trouble now.
We're all done at £32. At £32 then, and selling.
You live, you learn, you ring the bell, and the bell has tolled.
Yep, that was utterly surprising. So, moving on.
So, alpine cowbells and mysterious crystal finger bowl come sweetmeat
They're
dishes.
out in Ireland.
They're all out.
Yeah.
Philip's Art Deco Park coffee service is next.
The people say wake up and smell the coffee. They should say wake up. I smell success.
And I'm starting the bidding with me straight in at £28.
Oh, you're so close.
And advance on 28. And advance on 28 now, and 30, and 32. 32 now, 34. At 34 now, I'm out at 32 and 34 now.
Go
at
on.
34 then, and selling.
Oh, well done.
Thought you were going to say something else there. Well done, Phil Pop.
Trust the fairies. Everyone said you were away with them, and I said no, he knows what he's doing.
Can Tash's George V silver caddy spoon brew up a storm?
I love it. I'm in love with it.
Do you think it'd be better off if it had Belfast on it rather than Inverness?
Start with me at 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, and £30 now. At £30
Well done, you.
now. At £30 now commission. And advance
keep
on
going, keep going.
30. And advance on 30 now. We all done.
Come on,
at
online.
£30. Selling at £30 and at £30.
I'll take the profit.
What a matcher made in heaven, eh? Well done, Tash.
Why on earth have we not been spending all of our money on souvenir spoons?
It's Phil now with the combo arts and crafts lot of bookrest and tray.
And I'm starting with the bidding with me at 38, 42, 44, 46, 48 pounds.
Hello.
And advance on 48 now. And advance on 48.
That'll do.
And advance on 48 now.
Are you
At 48
tough?
then on commission.
I'm getting very
At
excited about
£48
£8 profit.
At 40 and 50 now. And advance on 50. Are we all done then? At £50 then. At £50.
I mean, I never thought I'd get that excited over a £10 profit.
The delight oozes from you, Phil.
All the excitement is in your face. Your body is very still. Your face is giving it.
I just light up.
You should talk, Tash. Right, she's having another shy at profits with the silver tea caddy.
And I'm starting the bid with me at £65.
Oh, good.
And advance on 65
Good.
now.
Oh,
and
come on.
70 in the room first. 75 online. 80 now. And advance on 80 now with the gentleman. And advance on 80 now.
Oh, it's a gentleman at the
Advance
back.
on 80.
Good.
At £80 then. Are we all done and dusted? At £80.
It deserved that, you know. It deserved
nice.
that. Yeah.
Let's party! Excellent result, Tash.
Well done, you. Well done, you.
Phil's adorable Rollston Gudgeon watercolour is next.
Have you seen those chicks? Oh,
I can start a bit with me, so £55. At 55. 55, 60,
C,
5,
Phil, C.
70, 5, 75 online now.
Oh, go on.
75 online. Are we all done at 75
I'm so
pounds
pleased
then?
it's made a profit.
75 pounds then to the net at 75 pounds.
Well, that helps.
Nice
doesn't
work.
it? That helps, doesn't it?
So good.
That's cheered him up. Beautiful piece. Well done, Phil.
They're just so fluffy and gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm pleased with that.
Time to get fruity now. It's Natasha's 19th century jam pan.
How does Raskin Sharp Serral jam sound to you?
Delicious.
And starting a bit with me at 24 pounds.
Oh.
26. And advancing 26. 28 seated. 30 now. 30 now.
What's happening?
Are we all done this time at 30 pounds? At 30 pounds then, standing at 30 pounds then.
A you jammy thing, Tash. Fantastic result.
No, we are definitely going into the jam making industry now.
Absolutely.
100%.
I'll join you. Phil now with the Granger's Worcester plate.
Phil, this is an easy profit.
Tenner report, €5 for the plate then. €5 for the plate, 5 bid. An advance on and 6.
Oh, here we go.
7, 8. An advance on 8 now. 9,
New bidder.
10. Are we all done there at £10 then?
That is really cheap.
Sorry, look at your face.
A bargain for the lucky Belfast bidder.
Would you like to write a sonnet about that loss?
No, I'd like to leave the building.
Not just yet, Phil. It's the final lot of today, Natasha's Virginia Woolf book collection.
Who's afraid of Virginia Woolf? Well, I might be.
I am.
And I'm starting with me commission bid at £95. An advance on 95. 100 now. 110. 120. 130.
Well done, Tash.
140. 145 now. 150 now. An advance on 150 in the room now.
Oh,
An
I'm
advance
so
on 150.
pleased.
Are we all done at £150?
Oh, I'm
at
so
£150 then. At 150.
That's a top result.
Tremendous, Tash. Well done. What a way to end the auction, eh?
Well done, you. You better lead the way.
To the library?
Absolutely right.
Phil began with £212.94. After auction costs, he made a small loss, leaving £189.64 for next time. While Natasha started with £181.98. She made an almighty profit of £126.04, giving her £308.02. Finally, Natasha has clinched auction glory. Congratulations.
Roof down. It's not raining. She's in fine fettle. You ready?
Off we go. What a lovely day.
That's the spirit, Phil. Look on the bright side, mate. Next on the trip, we are fashion forward.
Oh, by the way, do you like my hat?
Natasha has another string to her bow. And Phil is just like the king.
Thank you very much.